Okay, here we go. Our preparation for our Triad perm. So the concept is we're using triangular sections, and one of the principles of this technique is that a triangle has 3 lines. So each connecting triangle, they have to be wound at a different angle. So you can't have 2 triangles that connect that will wound at the exact same angle. So this way you'll get a lot of movement, more fullness, because of the conflicting angles and energies that you're building with those perm rods. So notice our second section here. I'm using a tremendous amount of elevation because again that will give me that root lift, right? And my sections are quite big. Actually my sections are bigger than the perm rods. But the tightness of the perm rod and the wideness of the section will give me a nice consistent curl. So again, our third triangle. Now notice this over direction is different than the second triangle. So again, with every section as we wrap the hair, we have to ensure that the over direction is different. So again, it will encourage a tremendous amount of movement. So our fourth triangle, again, this is over directed in a different direction. So we have like 3 over direction choices per triangle. So it's not that hard. Just calculate, just remove the angle that you just used, and then go and remove the angle that will give you the least amount of fullness, and that's the angle that you should wind the next perm rod at. Again, using strong over direction, and here after the perm I'll be going back and I'll cut her hair quite short. So if I get some fish hooks when I wrap the perm, it really doesn't matter, because those lengths after the perm, they will be cut off for sure. So I don't have to be that particular about fish hooks. I just need to get a nice consistent wrap going. And again, over directing each triangle in a different direction to complement the movement. So imagine if a triangle, a shape, you have all these different angles of energy, because that's what we actually do when we perm the hair, when we make straight hair curly. I'm putting in energy, I'm putting in motion with that perm rod. So the motion and direction is controlled by the actual angle of the perm. Okay, so now for the opposite side, it's the exact same technique. And as we work the opposite side, you really have to do your very best to ensure that each triangle is wound at the same angle. So that way you can have like symmetry and balance with your curl. You don't want, like, say the right side at one section was over directed strong to the right, and the same point on the opposite section again is to the right, then my shape will collapse. So you really have to ensure that once you finish the left side, that the right side, the angles and the section size definitely mirror the shape and the technique of the original side. Okay, and then we can also throw in these wrap twists. So I can like roll the curl rod in, and if I want additional curl, I can spin it. I can throw in like a 360 wrap, so that'll give me extra curl. So it depends on the overall end result, and then you have to take into consideration the type of texture that you're building. It actually has to fit the shape that you plan to cut the hair with later. So for her haircut, I'll be going in pretty tight at the occipital bone and the sides, and I want the sides and from the occipital bone below to be a bit tighter, because especially to the sides, I'll go in and I want more fullness to give support to those longer lengths at the top, because later on I'll be cutting a round graduated technique on her. Okay, so always keep in mind, the shape that we perm must fit the shape that we cut. When those 2 elements fit and they match, the end result is just super luxurious. If you perm a shape that is totally opposite of what you cut, then again the end result is just it's lacking because of the lack of those details. We have to make sure that both shapes fit. And when we're making straight hair, which is 2-dimensional, when we're making it 3-dimensional curly, we have to make sure that again we're actually creating a shape. Just like we can create a shape with our scissors, I can also go in and create a shape with perm rods. Okay, and notice to the sides how I took the rods pretty tight. I kind of flipped off of that Triad technique just to the side so I can get like tighter rods, tighter sectioning, and that will give me a stronger curl through the sides. Because again, I need the side areas to be a bit more curly than the top, because as the hair falls naturally, it will support the top portion tremendously, because when I cut the hair, I'll be using round graduation. So the longer portion will be to the top. So it'll be longer, heavier. So gravity will have more of a tendency of pulling my shape down. So that's why with this technique, I adapted it slightly just around the sides. I'm using back-to-back brick techniques just to give me a lot of support and fullness, and I'm using a tremendous amount of over direction through the sides. And the opposite side, I'm doing the exact same technique. So again, my intention is to the side areas to get the hair even tighter with even more root lift, as that will support the top portion of the haircut later. So notice a strong over direction and just wrapping it in. Again, I really don't have to be too perfect about the fish hooks because those ends definitely will be cut off. And just make sure you're wrapping the hair with a sufficient amount of tension, and I'm throwing in those twists just for that extra curl. So this way I don't have to go back and use a tighter perm rod. I can use the same size perm rod, but if I want more curl, I can just throw in more twists. Okay, now for the top area, I'm using strong over direction forward. I'm flipping back to that Triad technique, but again here I'm throwing in more twists. And through the top, my Triad technique, my sections are a little bit smaller than the sections I used in the back. But still, it's the same technique. So if my sections are smaller and I'm working on the same Triad technique, my curl will be even that much curlier. Because again, my sections, they're smaller, so I'm working on less hair within that perm rod. So just keep on wrapping with consistent tension. You can throw in extra flips. And this will definitely give me a lot more curl. And notice, see that root area? That will give me a tremendous amount of root lift. And that's my intention for the top area. So still wrapping the hair, again using super strong over direction. And a good way when you're perming hair, make sure you have consistent moisture throughout the wrap. You can always go back and douse it down a bit more with your water bottle. Okay, and now through the top portion, I'm flipping my technique a bit because I want to start to control the way her hair falls naturally at the hairline. I'm trying to go against her natural parting, so everything falls in one unison manner. So again, strong over direction, consistent moisture, consistent tension, adding my twist for that additional curl. Okay, and there we have it. There's our Triad technique. So now I'll go and place the perm solution consistently throughout every rod. We'll process at manufacturer's recommended time, and I'm using a perm solution for resistant hair because the hair at this point has no chemical on it. Then after we process, I'll rinse thoroughly, apply neutralizer, rinse, condition, and then we'll jump into the diffuse. Okay, so now we're just diffusing the hair. I don't want to touch the hair too much. I'm just using a lot of mousse, gloss, creams, just to keep that curl together. And just try not to, when I diffuse the hair, I aim for the roots first and then the ends, because a lot of times if you aim for the ends first, then the roots, and the roots are still moist, you'll have a tendency to get those ends a bit frizzy and over dry. So always, I prefer, finishing off the roots first and then working my way to the ends. So this is our mood board for the collection we shot. All right, well there we have it, our Triad technique. Enjoy.